Recently, of course, he left politics, took a very low profile, grew a beard there for a while. Now Gore has written in Rolling Stone magazine that President Obama has been a disappointment on the environmental front. He writes, Obama's election was accompanied by intense hope that many things in need of change would change. Well, some things have, Gore writes, but others have not. Climate change, unfortunately, is in the second category. Gore adds, President Obama has thus far failed to use the bully pulpit to make the case for bold action on climate change. Well, we got a friend here, Joan Walsh is editor-at-large for Salon. Eric Bates is executive editor of Rolling Stone magazine. Thank you very much, Joan and Eric, for joining us. Let me go to Eric. This piece, you commissioned it. Did he come to you or did you go to him?
We talked to him about doing this. We felt that everybody knows the science. Gore has made clear what the science says, that climate change is real, that the planet faces a grave risk. The question is, why hasn't more been done to stop it? And we thought he was in a real position to give us an analysis of that.
Well, what do you think is the problem? The Republican Party are basically lining themselves as anti-science. With some exceptions like Huntsman, they're willing to go out there and say they believe the world's about 5,000 years old. They basically go back to fundamentalist views about creationism, and they really don't have any problem being anti-science. Isn't that really the problem? Not that Gore has a problem with Obama. Where's the problem with climate change? Isn't it that half the country's being sold nonsense?
That's right, and that's exactly what this essay says. It's interesting. The essay is really about the press and the media and how they've fallen down on the job in terms of being the referee in the fight between science and reason. Gore really points out that the media hasn't done its job and has kind of taken a he said, she said approach to climate change, when in fact there's truth and there's falsity in this, and
I agree with you on that,
being conflated.
I'm with you on that, Eric. I hate that so-called even-handed, so-called objective journalism. You know, you can't say something isn't true if it's true in the interest of even-handedness. Right. Joan, your thoughts about this? Let's go to Al Gore. He's been sort of in and out of public life. For a while after getting sort of screwed out of the election back in 2000. We can argue about how it was done, but it ended up being some bad calls by him in terms of the recount, and some very bad intervention by the Supreme Court. Right. Very bad. We can all agree on that, a lot of us. He's a qualified guy. I think he ran a terrible campaign in 2000, but here he is. He did Inconvenient Truth, which is a hell of a documentary with Davis Guggenheim, and now he's back. What do you make of his going after the president in this fashion?
Well, you know, Eric made a really good point, Chris. I did read the whole 7,000 words. It's really inspiring. It's a little bit depressing, but most of it is really spent on us, not the three of us, of course, because we're doing the right thing, but on the media and on this fog that has been caused by spending, by powerful interests who are against any action on climate change. That's really what it's about. Then he comes to Obama, and when he gets to Obama, gives him some credit for things that he's done, but he says that he hasn't used the bully pulpit. And it's kind of bigger than that, because what he's saying is what other liberal advocates say too. He hasn't really told a story of A, what we're up against, but also B, what we can do about it. And this speaks to something that you're interested in. He talks about we could have a great industrial renaissance, R&D on alternative energies. We could be solving the unemployment crisis while we're solving the climate crisis and making national security less of an issue because we're not dependent on Gulf oil. So he sees the way these things are interconnected, and so does President Obama. But President Obama has kind of gotten stuck in the gridlock of Washington.
I know, the gridlock